Oh man, look at that. That's seen some. What's the back say? Oh my god.
It's a good thing I know it by heart.
Yeah, oh my god. Well, there you go, people. Just watch this video. It's way easier. Alright, we are back in the kitchen. This has been a well-requested video, actually.
We got a lot of comments asking.
We got a lot of comments. The main one is, are you going to show us how to make Hungarian goulash, and what is Hungarian goulash?
We're not going to show you how to make it.
We're not going to show you how to make it, but you'll learn today. We're in a kitchen. It's not our kitchen. You'll find out where we are in a second, but let's get started. Alright, who are you?
I'm SBO Mom.
Is that your actual name?
No, my name is Seth.
Okay, and what are you going to show us how to make today?
I'm going to show you how to make Hungarian goulash because it's a recipe that we've had in our family for many, many years.
How many years?
Oh gosh, 45 maybe, 50.
What's the definition of goulash?
I would say when you travel to Hungary, on the tables, like in this country we have salt and pepper, in Hungary you also have paprika on the tables. Mm-hmm. And it's a paprika based stew.
Interesting.
And that's specific to Hungary?
I think so because of the paprika.
Okay.
It's flavored with paprika.
Is ketchup a big Hungarian thing too?
No, ketchup is not, but some ketchups might have paprika in them. Also, it's an easy recipe to adapt to dehydrating.
Next question.
Well, what's the difference between the family recipe and then what we've created for dehydrating?
What I did was we took the dairy out.
Yeah.
Because at the end, when I make this for our family, I put in sour cream to make the sauce a little creamier, and we took that out. And I've made it using a shoulder roast that I was able to shred. But this time, what I usually do if I make it for the family is I use stew beef, large pieces. This time for this recipe, I adapted it by cutting all those pieces into small little pieces, which I felt would be easily dehydrated over a big chunk.
Someone's been watching our dehydrate video.
Yeah. Someone uses their noggin.
All right, go through the ingredients now.
Okay, the ingredients, what's great about this recipe is its simplicity. There's one ingredient here we don't have out yet, and that is bacon. Ingredients are bacon, onions, paprika, ketchup, beef, noodles, salt, and a little pepper.
That's it, huh?
And how many strips of bacon?
We use 3.
3 strips of bacon.
We use 3 strips of bacon.
How much onion is that?
Half a cup of onion.
And then
half a cup of ketchup.
How much paprika?
1.5 teaspoons of paprika.
And you said you use a sweet paprika.
I like sweet paprika as opposed to smoked. These are both a sweet variety. This one's actually Hungarian. This one is an organic variety I got at Whole Foods.
Perfect.
Then you can put this over mashed potatoes. I bought pasta for this, and I bought a thinner gauge of pasta thinking that would be easier to dehydrate. Thinner versus thicker. And 1.5 pounds of stew beef.
Quick sidebar while they're getting the ingredients ready. This is the running joke in my family is this woman and how she's always watching over us when we're over here.
All right, so what's the first thing we do?
First thing you do is I took the stew beef, 1.5 pounds, and I cut it up I use scissors because I just do that instead of a knife. And I cut it up into little pieces, like so. And that's what this is. This is 1.5 pounds of cut up stew beef.
Those are some good cuts, even.
Grass fed.
Yeah, grass fed, it'll dehydrate well. All right, so what's next?
Now, when we start cooking, the first thing you do is fry out 3 pieces of bacon. What I do when I do this is I cut the bacon into pieces before
we don't
I fry it.
Do we just not use knives in this family?
No, we don't. They are too dangerous. We never had knives around you two growing
And
up.
the
That would've been trouble.
the secret here too is don't get like real kitchen scissors. Just go to Schill.
Yeah, get the scissors from the junk drawer.
Yeah. These are fisters, yes, junk drawer scissors. You two can just.
What does it say?
Doesn't say like French, does it?
No, it does not. It says, I don't think so. Okay, so we take the bacon that we've cut up in pieces, 3 pieces of bacon, and put that into our skillet. And we're gonna put it on like medium-low heat.
Gotta get that grease.
Oh yeah.
And get that starting to cook. What you're gonna do is fry out the bacon. And usually what I do when the bacon is almost done cooking, I add a 1/2 cup of chopped onion. I use regular white cooking onions. You can use sweet onions, doesn't really matter. We're getting to the point where the bacon is about done. At this point, you can remove the extra bacon grease from the bottom of the pan, which I think I will do because we're gonna go ahead and add the noodles directly to this.
Plus, the less fat you have in it, the easier it will be to dehydrate. It'll last longer.
Okay, our bacon is pretty much cooked, so I'm going to add the onion in, 1/2 cup of chopped up onion. And I usually just saute this around a little bit to get the flavor of the bacon into the onion. You have to kind of keep stirring it. You don't want your onion to burn because we removed a lot of the fat from the bacon. If I had left the fat in there, it wouldn't be as crucial to do this. But we'll let this saute together for, say, a minute. Then we're going to add the stew beef that's been cut up into tiny pieces.
Second sidebar. Mildly racist Indian.
Onions are nice and getting translucent, and I want to add the beef in all at one time. 1.5 pounds of stew beef that's been chopped up pretty finely. And again, I took all the bacon fat out of this. If I'd have left the bacon fat in, I wouldn't have had to stay on top of this as much, but I'm going to keep stirring it. All you want to do at this point is brown the meat. It doesn't have to be completely cooked before we go to the next step. Okay, we're getting ready to add our noodles. I bought organic linguine pasta, real thin so that I thought it would dehydrate faster, made in Italy. Because this is handmade and hand-dried, it's going to cook pretty quickly. I'm going to add some olive oil to the water, and I'm going to add a little salt to the water. And then we're going to take our pasta.
Where's that the frozen?
I don't know.
Okay, pasta is in. Okay, so now we've got our meat browned with our bacon and our onion, and we're going to add our ketchup and our paprika and our salt. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of ketchup. I use organic ketchup from Whole Foods.
Traditional Hungarian ketchup.
No, that's baloney. Then I'm going to add, I used the sweet paprika, 1.5 teaspoons. Stir that around. Then I'm going to put, you've got salt in the bacon, so I'm just going to add a little salt, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to put some in my hand, not that much. You're going to stir all this up. Then you're going to add 5 cups of water. Okay. Now, you're going to let this simmer for about an hour. You have to watch it. You're going to cook it down. You're going to cook a lot of this water down and concentrate the flavors on low, medium-low heat. Okay, so here we are, about an hour and 15 minutes later. You can see where all the liquid has cooked down, and you've got a real concentrated sauce with your meat and your bacon and your onion and your paprika and your spices. And what we're going to do is just wait till our pasta is done, and combine this with the pasta, and then it's ready for the dehydrator. Okay, so now our pasta is done, and I cooked 13 ounces. So we're just gonna start adding that into our sauce with our meat. And we're gonna try to see how much we want in there. I might just dump it all in there.
All right.
Let's just dump it all in there. This is 13 ounces of pasta. You can use more or less depending on how meaty you want the result to be.
This is not a gluten-free vegan recipe either.
Yeah, that's not.
You could add some fresh parsley in at this point if you so desired. I'd say that probably is a good mix. So there is your goulash. Like I said, the only thing different at this point I would have done if I was serving this to house guests would be to add some sour cream, half a cup of sour cream to the sauce before I added the pasta. You can also serve it over mashed potatoes, any type of pasta.
Okay, there you have it. We're gonna flip over to the dehydrator. Big thanks to SBO Mom. Thumbs up, subscribe.
Yes, and make this recipe. It's amazing. Got the goulash on the trusty Nesco dehydrator. Little secret here, Kevin and I actually had a few portions of this for dinner, so I got about 2 trays here. 2 trays. This is about four good servings. Yeah, so we're gonna get it going in the Nesco, the trusty snack master. Anything with meats, recommend 160 degrees. So got Nesco set to 160 degrees. We're looking at a minimum of about 12 hours here. So we'll check back in when it's done and show you the final product. Well, after 12 hours, looking nice and dehydrated. And just want to kind of break it apart with your fingers, make sure it's, you know, all the moisture's gone. You know, since we're using this beef that's cut up into tiny pieces, you kind of want to break a few pieces apart. Make sure it's not soft on the inside, and this is very nicely dehydrated. One thing to notice with this too, you know, even though we tried to use little fat in it, you know, there is some fat from the bacon grease and some other in the meat as well. So it is a little oily, which is okay, but just note, as we do with everything that we talk about dehydrating, store this in your freezer until you're going to use it. So, of course, it'll do fine on the shelf for a while, but since there is just a little bit more fat than normal than it, and it's a little oily, this should be stored in the freezer. All right, so there you have it. Got it packaged up in the Ziploc bag. Gonna go right in the freezer, and then when it's time to use, I'll break it up into portion sizes for, you know, freezer bags. Anyways, we'll just eyeball the sizes. Generally, like 3 to 4 ounces is roughly about a serving size. Yeah, so before we go, let's just let's check in with some people and see what they think about this recipe.
Okay, what's the update?
Oh man, this goulash is so good.
It's good. It's filling.
Yeah.
Bryce, Bryce has
I'm
been...
just tired of hearing about Hungarian Goulash.
You know, Bryce...
Get yourself some. Am I supposed to try it? Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to try it.
With your little sporky. Make sure you get some beef in there. There you go.
He's shaking his head.
Dude, that is so good. Wow. Wow.